to the VitaCast episode 72. My name is Kyle Wakeling, and I've taken over because Tyler's a little bitch.
Hey!
Now to him.
I give you the reins to this horse, and you call me a bitch.
That's right. You know how I peer pressured you into buying Bloodborne?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't peer pressure me.
I can't, but I can try.
Well, you can, but it turns out not like you wanted.
Well, all right. Then keep it going then, Mr. Controlling this podcast.
All right. Well, in the spirit of keeping it going, I'm going to throw to Tyler for Tyler's games that he's played this week. So what have you played this week, Tyler?
Well, Mr. Host, I've played a little bit of MLB 15 the show. It's still frustrating me. Still got those problems that I've mentioned previous episodes.
That wall diving problem, Tyler?
That and I think I've discovered a new one where I'll be lined up to catch the ball in the outfield, like a pop fly or whatever, and I'll just gently touch the analog stick and my guy will book it like 20 feet away. And I'm like, what? And he misses the ball. And it's like, you've got to be kidding me. And it just frustrates me so much. But I'm still playing it, so I guess it's good. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what to expect in the next one. So who knows? I don't even know if I'll pick it up. But that's another story. I've also played a tiny bit of Shovel Knight that just came out. I've only finished the first level, so I'm very early in, so I don't really have a major opinion on it because, like I said, I've only played a little bit of it. So I'll probably report back to you guys next week when I've played a lot more. Also been killing a couple more bosses in Titan Souls. If you're a fan of my YouTube channel, I've been doing some Let's Plays, and you can see me just going crazy and raging and getting very upset in this game, because it's a very upsetting game, but at the same time, it's very rewarding, and that's the one thing I love about it. So definitely need to play some more of that. Also, you and I played a little bit of Killzone Mercenary. We got owned in our first two matches. Well, not really owned, but we lost our first two matches, and then we finally pulled it around and kicked some ass, and it felt great. But yeah, I think that's about it. What about you, Kyle?
Well, other than my cheating on the Vita this week with Bloodborne, as per my addiction currently, I played a lot of Vita favorites for myself. So this week was Killzone Mercenary with you, where we got owned and then owned. And then I played some single player, just kind of screwing around and trying to be badass on Veteran. Also, I played some Hot Shots Golf. Got to get back into that. I'm missing it, and I haven't been playing it lately. So I made myself, and then I was like, oh, and I played like 27 holes, and yeah. And I played Ollie Ollie 2. So it's been just a week of kind of favorites on the Vita, and I haven't been really putting too much energy into things, just enjoying them. So That was kind of nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, all right. You're still the host, so continue it. What's next?
All right. Well, it looks like we're moving on to reviews from the week. And why don't you read the first review comment?
Yes, sir. So our first review for this week is Hotaru no Nakai, The Firefly Diary, which was reviewed by Brad, and he gave it a 3.1 out of 5. And he says, quote, Hotaru no Nakai, The Firefly Diary is a grim and morbid game. The challenge of safely leading little Mion through the world can be overwrought with frustration at times, but the terrifying world is so wow, this word is easy and I'm struggling, is so brilliantly, holy crap, it's going to be a great podcast, crafted that it's easy to forgive the flaws. The slow staccato of the animation is unsettling, and the controls take some getting used to. In all, Hotaru no Nakai is a decent platformer that is wrapped in a truly beautiful and terrifying experience. End quote.
So you butchered that one, Tyler.
That was a struggle. I still can't even say that word. Brilliantly. You know, sometimes the words just don't work.
Yeah, your tongue is now trained for the Japanese words, and you're trying to, turn it into a...
I just can't. Yeah. Anyways, have you played this one, Kyle?
I haven't, though it's one that's... there's something about it, I have to have it. So Eventually, I'm definitely going to get it, but I do not have it yet, and it looks so. It reminds me of Limbo. It makes me want to play Limbo again too. It's just so morbidly awesome.
I gotcha. Yeah, I've played a little bit of it, not too much, but I enjoyed it. I definitely would like to finish it, but with all these games coming out, it's getting pushed back, unfortunately. But yeah. So there's that one. Feel free to read the full review if you're interested and have not picked it up yet.
Absolutely. And the second review and the last review from the week is Sackboy Run, reviewed by Paul, and he gave it a 3 out of 5, and he says, quote, "It's free, it's fun, and will fill some of your time up, but it will get very repetitive and offers no real longevity," end quote. So it looks like something that you might want to grab if you need, something to play in a couple minutes in between something else, but don't expect to, lose yourself and run Sackboy Run too much.
Agreed.
All right, so now that we've got done with the reviews from the week, we move on to the new releases. So we kick it over to whoever the new releases person is for the week, and take it away.
Hey everybody, Tyler here, going to bring you your new releases. Let's start off with North America. We are getting Sayonara Umahari Kawase Plus for $20, $19.99. We are also getting Shovel Knight 3-Way Cross-Buy for $14.99 or $13.49 if you have PlayStation Plus, and a ton of NBA themes if you are interested in that. For Europe, things are getting a little weird as Shovel Knight has not been posted yet, but it seems like it's going to be posted tomorrow, so Thursday. And you've also got Sayonara Umahari Kawase Plus and Metal Slug, which have posted today. So those are your new releases. Back to the podcast.
All right, thank you, News. There we go. New releases person for bringing us those new releases. Anything there look good to you, Tyler?
Well, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I did pick up Shovel Knight, and I also mentioned that I haven't really jumped into it quite enough yet, but I plan on digging back into it soon.
Oh.
It's been a good night. Oh! No? Okay. Well, sayonara.
Yeah, because apparently you don't care about Sayonara Umahara Kawase Plus, Tyler.
Well, I don't really. It's $20. That's expensive for a game that I really don't know anything about and doesn't really grab me right off the bat.
But Tyler, you play as a girl with a fishing rod who swings.
Yeah? Is there more?
Didn't I just sell you on the game?
No.
Oh, damn.
Not yet. You haven't hooked me yet.
Well, damn. Well, what if I explain that she uses the fishing rod to do platforming swings and tricks like Indiana Jones in an urban setting? All right, I'm done trying. As for me, Shovel Knight, just not for me. I can see where other people would definitely, see this as something appealing, but it's not floating my boat. And Sayonara Umahara Kawase Plus, yeah, no. I'm with you. Even though I know stuff about this game, it just seems too simplistic, and there's other games that are more, attention grabbing that I haven't finished yet, so I'll get to those first.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
You should just reconsider Shovel Knight. There's a couple things about it that just make it get you hooked, small things that you don't even know about, like how you have to upgrade your health and your mana and stuff and whatnot, and fun stuff in video games.
Yeah, and whatnot. You haven't sold me, Tyler. Just like I didn't sell you on Sayonara, you didn't sell me on that.
Yeah, well, oh well.
All right, well, instead of that crap, let's go on to the news. And go ahead, Tyler, because you're first, and that's the way it is.
That's the way the cookie crumbles. All right.
That's right.
First up, JStars Victory vs. Plus, the highly anticipated anime superstar fighter has been announced for release on June 30th in North America and on June 26th in Europe. As well as its release date, Bandai Namco Games has also given official details on JStars, which are as follows. Quote, the most famous original manga anime stars are ready to fight. Celebrating the 45th anniversary of the Shonen Jump magazine and the 20th anniversary of V-Jump magazine in Japan, a never-before-seen fighting game has been developed. JStars Victory vs. Plus invites fans and gamers to play with their favorite manga anime characters and progress in the Jump world through different environments, recalling Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, and other memorable moments. For every manga and anime fan, JStars Victory vs. Plus is jam-packed with long hours of intense and amazing battles and a must-have addition to their video game collection. So here's some features. First time outside Japan, a unique game combining licenses in the famous Jump magazines is releasing for the first time outside of Japan. Incredible roster, a huge choice of characters coming from the most famous mangas, animes issued in the Jump magazine. Jump World, the world where the adventure takes place, offers 4 different scenarios in which players can travel in memorable places like Alabasta, Hidden Leaf Village, and Planet Namek. Epic battles. With the 2v2 team battle system, fights are going to be tough, strategic, and exciting. Each character possesses his own specifications and attacks coming from the manga and anime. The game also adds special moves called Combination Attack and V-Voltage System, making battles even more aggressive. And Arcade Mode. Arcade mode has been added to the game in the same vein as other fighting games. For more on JStars, check out the Vita Lounge for more as we approach the end of June for the Western release. And next up, Compile Heart has announced that its latest dungeon RPG, Mo Chronicle. I'm not even going to attempt to read the Japanese version. We'll be seeing an English language release in Asian territories come May 5th. There have been speculation that this title was going to see an English Asian release after being listed on import sites such as PlayAsia, but Compile Heart had been very silent regarding the English version until now. The Asian region release of Moe Chronicle will include Chinese and English subtitles, though Compile Heart has maintained that the title will stay true to its Japanese counterpart and be completely uncensored. While the game is releasing in English, there is still no word on a localization for the West. That said, stay tuned to the Vita Lounge if you're interested, as Adrian will be reviewing this title next month. And next up we have, do you own Citizens of Earth? Frustrated with some of the little niggles that the game has? Today could be your lucky day as a new patch is available for the colorful RPG title. Weighing in at 1.7 gigs, the patch notes available in the title's Facebook page are minor bug fixes. We got crash stability fixes, reduced encounters in Casino Canyon, added checkpoint in Casino Canyon, added retro soundtrack, PlayStation Vita specific, added remote play, added cross save, added PlayStation TV support, and Citizens of Earth patch notes. Here are some additional bug fix details. Default title screen focus to continue button can now skip item drop message during battle. Fixed crash and regroup was used during some boss battles, and a lot more. So feel free to check out the site if you would like to find out all the fixes or just update the game yourself and find out there. If you've been playing Citizens of Earth with one of these issues or even put it down because of one, now's the time to update and play it like it was meant to be played.
Alright. Moving on, PlayStation Vita Firmware Update 3.50 was released at the end of March to much fanfare. Among the changes it brought were improvements to remote play and accessibility features that would allow users to remap the button functions. The update also infamously removed a number of features surrounding maps and Nier. It now appears as though there is an upside to the loss of these features. At the Unite Tokyo 15 event in Japan, it was revealed that Update 3.50 now allows developers access to 30% more memory. Sony wasn't specific as to how this extra memory was freed up, but speculation can conclude that the removal of maps and near functionality had a part to play. There's also speculation that Sony had always been holding back some memory for the operating system in order to future-proof it, and that much of that memory has now been made available to developers. It's not clear just yet how this additional 30% will affect future game development or how it will affect the performance of games already released. Hopefully these back-end improvements to the system will provide a better, smoother experience for everyone, but only time will tell. Next up, Choice Provisions, the team behind Bit Trip Runner 2 and Whoa Dave, have announced that they're bringing Neon Deity Games' surreal shmup Shitsumi Muscular Armed Fish to the Vita soon, and it will be bigger than its Xbox and PC release. The announcement, which was made in a recent interview with Silicon Era, included details such as 3 new boss fights, bumping the total up to 6, added 2 more enemy types and tweaked some enemy behavior. Midway through the game, the 5 normal weapons upgrade and gain new abilities. There was general balance and difficulty tweaking. They've doubled the amount of power-ups. They've doubled the amount of hats. They've added 2 to 4 player local multiplayer. They've added online leaderboards. They've added trophy and achievement support. They've upgraded and or replaced stage backgrounds, which have effectively been doubled. There are twice as many songs in the game. The option to switch between 2 AO3 and completely upgraded VRC6 soundtrack has been added. UI upgrades and enhancements have been introduced, and customizable controls have been added. Hopefully all this boils down to a fuller and more enjoyable experience from the original, but either way, TVL will keep you informed as this one develops further. Announced for localization a few weeks ago, Sayonara Umharakawase Plus has a Western release date, and surprisingly, it's before the Japanese release date, at least for North America. Scheduled to hit North America this week, and already released on April 21st, and to hit Japan later in the week on the 23rd, we're a bit sad that we've got no news on a European date other than soon after. That said, a launch trailer was released alongside the announcement, which shows the game running at its PS Vita intended 60 frames per second. So jump to the site and have a look if you're interested.
Alright, next up, Taiko Drum Master V version has recently been revealed for release in Japan, bringing the Rhythm title to our favorite handheld this summer. That's right, Rhythm fans, you'll soon be able to play Taiko Drum Master on PlayStation Vita. The title is scheduled to hit Japan on July 9th, with over 80 songs in tow. But what kind of songs will we see, you may ask? And that we've got an answer. Anything your typical Japanese media consumes could want. There are songs from anime, video games, Vocaloids, J-pop, and even a variety category, which I assume means anything goes. In addition to the regular rhythm mode containing these songs, however, we'll also see the inclusion of a fantasy RPG-style game mode with a story called Donda Quest. It puts the player in control of Don-chan, who was sucked into a mysterious book. Inside the book, he and heroine Maple, voiced by Ari Ozawa, must take on an ancient dragon known as Revolution. Taiko Drum Master V version is due out in Japan on July 9th, priced at a reasonable 5,690 yen. Next up, the PlayStation Vita version of Rise of Mana was originally slated to launch in Japan this winter. Seeing as winter has come and gone, we still haven't gotten the game in an updated version of the game's Tokyo Game Show trailer posted today reveals it's on track for a spring 2015 release. While that's all the news on the title we have for now, make sure to stay tuned to the Vita Lounge for all your Rise of Mana updates. And next up, back in December, Super Time Force Ultra was announced for PlayStation Vita, and alongside it, so was the announcement that Sony Computer Entertainment Worldwide Studios boss Shuhei Yoshida would be a playable character, but he's not alone. New information on the game has revealed that more characters from the PlayStation universe will be joining in on the fun, including all of us, just kidding, including Sir Galahad from PlayStation 4 exclusive The Order 1886 and the Traveler from Journey. There's no news on a release date as of yet, but be sure to stick to the Vita Lounge for further updates, as always.
Alrighty. Bandai Namco Games have announced that their upcoming Vita title, Tokyo Ghoul Masquerader, has been given a new name. Launching later this year in Japan, Tokyo Ghoul Masquerader will now be named Tokyo Ghoul Jail. However, it will still feature the new protagonist Ryo and revolve around adventure elements and choices that will branch off the story in different ways. If you're as interested as me in this one, you know we'll be keeping you updated. Next up, Aqua Plus have released a demo for their upcoming dungeon RPG, Two Heart 2 Dungeon Travelers in Japan, a bit ahead of the full game's release. Weighing in at 329 megabytes, the demo is now available for free on the Japanese PlayStation Store and allows you to level your characters up to level 9. As with many of these kinds of demos, save data will also transfer to the final version of the game. Interested in trying out the game ahead of its April 30th release? Here's your shot. Japanese roguelike mystery Gensokyo, The Tower of Desire, will launch in Japan on PlayStation Vita on June 25th, publisher Aqua Plus has revealed. Coming in as part of the Toho project, which has several more games for the PlayStation Vita in the pipeline, Mystery Gensokyo will launch on the PlayStation Store for 4,000 yen, or will be released in a limited physical format for 8,000 yen, which will include a code for the game, an art book, a custom PlayStation Vita theme, a smartphone stand, a soundtrack CD featuring 60 music tracks, and a drama CD. Sound like something you're interested in? That release is only 2 months away, so get saving those yen.
Alright, next up, the action game spin-off to JRPG series Hyperdimension Neptunia will hit Western PlayStation Vitas next month, as announced by publisher Idea Factory International. Launching in the US on May 19th and in Europe on May 22nd, Hyperdimension Neptunia U will be the third Hyperdimension game to release on the PlayStation Vita in 2015. It will be compatible with PlayStation TV and will feature new characters, customizable equipment, and over-the-top skills not yet seen in the series. Full story details are as follows. Story. Game industry, a world protected by the 4 CPUs and their CPU candidates. No world can remain unseen by the eyes of evil, but due to the combined efforts of the CPUs and the CPU candidates, no strong enemies or monsters are able to cause any chaos. Thus, the CPUs and their people find themselves in a peaceful boredom. Amidst this relaxing time, the CPUs are approached with a fascinating proposition. Key features. Street brawling. For the first time ever, your favorite Neptunia characters will have to hack and slash their way through waves of enemies in real time, and in the free roaming stages, you'll get to create chain combos both on the ground and in the air. Two-person party. With the dual system, you'll be able to switch between 2 characters on the battlefield, balance out each character's strengths and weaknesses to create the ultimate battle duo, and even get some new playable characters, some of whom might be familiar from previous Neptunia games. Let's get physical. The heat of battle can cause some wear and tear on your outfits. When you experience a costume break, your outfits will tear, lowering your defense but increasing your critical rate and EXE drive gauge. The road to comebacks is paved with ripped fabric. Skills. Get the kills. Fill up your EXE drive gauge in order to clear the room with 2 tiers of special attacks, and you might just get a helping hand from your friend later on to perform some super special attacks. Stay tuned to the Vita Lounge over the coming weeks, as we'll be sure to keep you updated with more as we get closer to the release. Next up, developer Idea Factory have revealed at the developers' debut press event that their latest visual novel, Amnesia Memories, will be arriving in the West this August. Amnesia Memories is in the atome genre, meaning that it is primarily aimed at a female audience. Perfect for Kyle. The heroine of the game, as its title suggests, has lost all her memories and has no idea who she is. Your life depends on keeping your bout of amnesia a secret, while at the same time navigating relationships with 5 men. Along for the journey is a spirit named Orion, who will assist in your quest to find your lost memories. Though we do not have a final release date for Amnesia Memories, we can expect it this August on PlayStation Vita and PC. And next up, thanks to Bandai Namco, one of the three main protagonists of Rage Gaunt has been detailed, and new screenshots for the dungeon crawling RPG have been released, as well as some information on the battle system. Each of the three main protagonists have their own chapters, including Ichara, Kyle, and Nil. Details on three characters can be found on the site if you're interested, but the gameplay seems the more important bit for now. Here are the details about the battle system's buttons, active point mechanics, and battle distances. 3 command, battle, and active points. The battle system makes use of the 3 commands, which the player can assign to the circle, triangle, and square button. Each command costs AP, which is shared throughout the party. Thus, when your AP is low, everyone's actions are limited. Conversely, when your AP allows for it, you can perform several actions in a single turn. Your selected commands are shown on the left of the screen, and you can change between characters to queue their individual actions up using the left and right D-pad buttons. While your AP is reduced as your allies attack, it will recover during enemy actions, regardless of whether the target is friend or foe. You'll recover more AP depending on whether the action is more powerful. Additionally, your AP will carry over after battle, meaning finishing the battle with a small amount of AP will become problematic for the next fight. 3 command layout. Circle button, set an attack action. Triangle button, set a defensive action. Square button, set either an attack or defensive action. Active points. Outside of the battle, you can increase or decrease your AP, depending on your choices during events. AP will also decrease if you accidentally step on traps while roaming the dungeon. Battle distances. When you're fighting against a Gigant, the viewpoint will change depending on how far away your characters are from the enemy. There are 3 distances you can fight at: short distance, middle distance, and long distance. Short distance. When fighting at a short distance, you'll need to make use of short-range weapons like the swords and axes. Do battle with physical attacks. Middle distance. When fighting at the middle distance, you'll further away from the range of Gigant's physical attacks, you'll need to make use of mid-range attacks like magic to strike the enemy, as well as assist those in short distance. And long distance. When fighting at long distance, you're further away from the Gigant and can use rifles and lay traps on the battlefield, as well as assist those in middle and short distances. Loki. Loki is a Gigant boss that appears during Kyle's chapter. Rage Gigant comes out this year on July 30th in Japan.
All right, moving to the last bits of news. We've seen quite a lot of information regarding Death into the Labyrinth following its announcement earlier this year, and now we have more details on the game's cast and story thanks to the game's official website. Here's the story. One day, the stars stopped rotating. Because of this, the world was covered in darkness, and it became a world plunged into perpetual dark, with monsters abound lurking about. To return the world to its original state, it is necessary to wind the screw that controls the rotation of the stars. Estra, a Makaishi, demon machine soldier girl, bands together with the Guardians to conquer the 4 towers guarded by the protector gods. There's 5 chosen Makaishi, the Dark Seneishu, 3 shadow people, and the Maita Kiryu, mysterious dragons. Overcome a variety of challenges and bring back light to the world. Estra and the Guardians' adventure begins now. Interesting. We've also got information on Makaishi and the Guardians. The people who descended from the stars are known as the Makaishi and have the ability to use a mysterious power known as demon machine arts. Makaishi can also make use of robots known as Guardians. Information on the Southern Cross and the 4 towers. The Makaishi revere at a sacred city known as the Southern Cross. It's a city built in the shape of a cross and features a yellow temple at its core. Additionally, there is a blue tower, white tower, crimson tower, and black tower at its 4 sides, and their interiors are thought to be connected to the demon world. We've also got information on characters. Estra is the protagonist and one of the 5 chosen Makaishi. Best with earth element demon machine arts, she can't avoid a person in need and is both curious and a girl who takes action. Flea is one of the 5 chosen Makaishi. Specializing in fire element demon machine arts, she's determined, strong, confident, trigger-happy, and proud. She's also a rival to Estra and the other girls. Connie is one of the 5 chosen Makishi, good with wood element demon machine arts. These are some crazy descriptions. She's an innocent and healthy girl and the mood maker of the group. Maki is one of the 5 chosen Makishi. Her best demon machine arts attribute is gold. She is clear-headed, calm, cool, and collected, as well as an honors student. The mission to reconstitute the stars is especially important to her, and she acts as an advice-giving older sister-like character to Estra. There's also Sethia, one of the 5 chosen Makaishi. Her demon machine arts attribute of choice is water. She's a shy bookworm who lacks confidence and has a negative attitude and is always studying the expressions of others. Compile Hearts never fail to give us plenty of information regarding their upcoming games, so make sure you keep checking the Vita Lounge for more information regarding this release. Next up, we got word of a release date for Luminous Arc Infinity a few weeks ago, and now have plenty of more information to share regarding the game's cast and battle system. The information, which comes from publisher Marvelous, details some of the game's cast, as well as the story and battle systems from the game. Information on characters Reina, Hisoka, and Kasumi can be found on the website, but I will detail the stuff regarding the actual gameplay. Duo Rent. The heroines of Luminous Arc Infinity have special moves called arts that take advantage of each attribute. By triggering Duo Rent with one of them, you can borrow their arts to attack. This system will also increase the favorability between the 2 characters that make use of it. There's also Duo Strike. Ranking above the Duo Rent is the Duo Strike, a technique that combines the arts of the 2 characters that use it. When using the Duo Strike, the attribute of your combined arts change depending on the weakness of the enemy, making it an extremely powerful special move. And we have Center Leader. Players will be able to appoint a heroine as their center leader, which boosts their attack strength in battle and awards them more experience points than they normally attain. The game launches in Japan on August 6th, but in the meantime, check out a bunch of new screenshots on the site and stay tuned to the Vita Lounge for further information. And the last bit of news. Yacht Club Games, winner of several Indie Game of the Year awards in 2014, have released their debut title, Shovel Knight, on the PlayStation Vita. The game has officially launched in the US as part of the Spring Breeze promotion on the PlayStation Network, meaning that US and Canadian gamers, I don't know why I didn't say that, will receive a 10% discount on their purchase of the game for the first week it's on sale. So make sure you grab that deal while you can. In farther news, however, news on the upcoming challenge mode for the game has been revealed via a post on Yacht Club Games' official website, which will go live when the upcoming DLC, Plague of Shadows, becomes available via a free game update. As always, be sure to stick with the Vita Lounge, as we'll be sure to give you updates on the upcoming content for the game, as well as a review for the base game in the coming weeks. And that's the news, Tyler.
Aw, yeah.
Indeed, indeed. So now that we've done the news, looks like we have to move on to this thing called the talking points. And as usual, starting off the talking points, we have announced and released games we're looking forward to from the week. So what looks good?
Well, Rise of Mana. I would love to have that come over here. It looks very interesting. Super Time Force Ultra. I'd like to know a release date. Also, we didn't talk about it in any of the news, but coming soon is Disney Infinity 2.0, and I'm pretty excited about that. I'm hoping it holds up, because I honestly think that this could be a pretty big deal for the Vita, especially if it sells well and Disney's like, you know what? This worked. Let's keep bringing stuff to it. So I'm looking forward to that. I just pre-ordered my starter pack yesterday. So yeah. I'm a little kid at heart.
Fancy.
But yeah, and also that, well, you know, everyone knows all the Bandai Namco games, like JStars Victory Versus. I'm excited for that. Sword Art Online, Lost Song, all the games that we really wish would come over here. Digimon, So yeah, what about you, Kyle?
Well, Amnesia Memories looks interesting to me.
Isn't that
Uh,
a well? All right, isn't that really meant for girls though? But is it not?
I don't give a shit about labels like that, Tyler.
All right, I'm just
I talk to
saying.
you, don't I?
Oh, no, I'm okay. I'm not trying to. This is not a jab at you at all. I'm just like honestly, like, isn't it like centered more around like for women and stuff?
Well, didn't you read the
I did.
news, Tyler?
I did. I'm just saying.
Well, it's yeah, like it's I don't know, it's a tome, so I guess like it's directed at a female audience, but like anything visual novel kind of catches my eye, so whatever.
I gotcha. Well, you have to let me know how it is. Maybe I'll pick that up for my girlfriend. But here you go.
You watch it, then she'll like be stealing your Vita to play all your Vita games and
No,
stuff.
she has her own Vita.
Yeah, but you have games that she doesn't have.
She has her own Vita.
So what you're saying is you're not letting her have your Vita.
If she wants a game, I'll just buy it for her so I can continue playing on
Oh,
her
I see.
Vita.
Hint, hint there, Kylie. Go ahead and just start, I want all these games, Tyler.
No.
Anywho, so yeah, I mean, I'm kind of interested in that one. Also, of course, Tokyo Ghoul Jail, their new
Do you
name
like the new
for it.
name?
I
Don't
thought
really care.
Masquerader sounded more badass,
That
but
does
whatever.
sound badass. It's just this, it's the same thing with Freedom Wars. I thought Panopticon sounded pretty cool.
Yeah, I think Panopticon's a badass name too. Um, yeah, so those. JStars has my interest because obviously, like a lot of the people that are included in it, I'm not super big on fighting games, but
Well, it's not
the
like
right elements come together, then I'm down.
it's gonna be like Dragon Ball Z.
Right, right.
So I mean, it's not like 2D
Well, it
fighting.
is and it isn't because like normally I wouldn't necessarily like a Dragon Ball Z S game either,
Ooh. Well, you're gonna have to
but
get it so we can do
that one was
2v2,
badass.
and you and I
Yeah,
can just kick some ass or get our
true,
asses kicked.
true. So yeah, those, and then of course, there's the usual ones that we talk about. And then of course there's the extensions of ones that I've talked about, like Hyper Dimension, Neptunia U. I keep saying I'm gonna play all these Hyper Dimension games, I still haven't got to them. So that one could be, something down the line, but I'm not looking too closely right now.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, since I'm supposed to be doing your job, the next talking point is the Japanese PlayStation Vita patent, trademark, notice, and rumors. So, Kyle, what is all of this hubbub about?
All right. So for the uninformed or for those who have been misinformed, there was a tweet by a trademark bot from Japan that showed what looks to be a mock-up of between a PlayStation Vita 1000 and a PlayStation Vita 2000. The patent, if somebody would have bothered to drop it in Google Translate or know how to read Japanese or ask somebody who knows how to read Japanese, has nothing to do at all with the new Vita revision and is focusing completely on the placement of the PlayStation buttons, the circled, cross, triangle, and square on the console. So it looks like the patent application is actually for button placement on a game console, pretty much. And that's evidenced farther by the fact that they also did one for the DualShock 4. So, I mean, the patent has nothing to do with the new Vita yet. All these sites kind of took with it and they're like, Vita 3000, it has an HDMI port. Like they just started pulling things kind of out of their asses, even though what most people were pointing out as the HDMI port was either the PlayStation Vita 1000's proprietary plug or the SIM slot for the Vita 1000 with 3G. So it was just something that kind of was something innocuous and blew completely out of proportion by people who didn't do any research or checking at all.
Yeah.
And I even saw sites such as IGN post this as like legit news, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what happened. I don't know if you got caught up in that at all. Tyler, did you?
I saw it, and then when I like looked at the picture, I'm just like, there's nothing different. And then when I was reading one of the sites out there that said it was the 3000, like, it looks like to be a HDMI slot, and I'm like, I don't see anything that represents an HDMI port anywhere. What are they talking about? And I just kind of just was like, you know what? I'll wait till there's an announcement. I'm not gonna base it off of something that some patent thing tweeted out. And then I got to see like the people that actually did some research on it, and was like, oh, okay, whatever.
My favorite bit was actually the fact that a lot of sites were claiming that in the text it actually says PCH 3000, and nowhere in the whole thing, not the tweet or the actual patent application, does it say anything of the sort.
So people
So
are just making
that's
shit up.
yeah, it's clickbait. Stay away.
Yep. Interesting.
Yeah. So that's kind of what happened as, something that, popped up this week, and I was just like, oh man.
Educate yourself, people. Don't believe
Indeed.
everything. All
Indeed.
right. Well, the next talking point here, we got Helldivers DLC speculations. So to go into it really quick, there was a trailer teasing some new Helldivers DLC, and it didn't really show you too much, so speculation ensues. What are you speculating, Kyle?
Well, I'm not completely sure, but looking at, the kind of DLC packs that they've released in the past, I assume it's going to be something in the, area of equipment, plus looks like from the footage that they're showing, maybe new areas or new sorts of like missions that you have to undertake in the areas that you're given, something like that, because it seems to imply that something different is happening in actual gameplay, and yet some of these areas are kind of familiar but kind of not. Maybe it's just me not having played the game enough to know, but it seems like something's definitely going on with the gameplay, as well as something. When they do a DLC like that, they like to add guns and armor and equipment and blah 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 like they have in the past. So I mean, I'm expecting that as well.
Yeah, from what I saw, it definitely looks like some new weapons, and I think you're pretty much right on track. New areas, because they have, I think, only 3 environments right now. You've got the snow planet, you've got the desert planet, and then you've got the jungle planet, which, I mean, it's not super varied, but what it looks like is now there's going to be like a volcanic, kind of hot, devilish type planet, I guess. And then it seemed like there was a couple enemies that I've never seen before, so it looks like they might be adding a couple, not like new races, but like just a couple new aliens per race.
Yeah, I thought that too.
So yeah, I mean, it looks pretty awesome. It's definitely going to pull me back into Helldivers. I haven't played it in a couple weeks, and this is going to be something that will bring me back into it to see what's going on.
Hasn't been for lack of wanting to play it though, Tyler. It's just we have so many games.
Very true. The game is awesome. I mean, it's, yeah, like Kyle just said, there's so many games. It's kind of sucks sometimes doing what we do.
There's not enough hours in the day for all the games I want to play. And I know that sounds poetic, but it's truth.
Speak it.
Preach it. Preach the Vita gospel.
All right. So, listener mail. Let's jump into that. You want to take the first one, Kyle?
All right, making me do it.
Unless you want me to do it.
Anywho, no, I'll do it. So the first listener mail is from Lorenzo Samaniego, and that's at SAMANIEGO, sorry. And they ask, with all the new Star Wars material coming out, think any comes to the Vita?
Um, Nothing from EA, but I think with Disney Infinity coming, I could easily see some Star Wars characters being um, put into toy form and being able to use them within the game. So if you count that, then yeah, I see that very being a possibility easily, because Star Wars and toys and Disney, they like money, and that would be an easy route for it to go through. But anything like what EA is doing with Battlefront, I highly doubt it. And if you were to tweet at them, they'd be like, "Is remote play good enough?" That's what they would say.
All right. Well, for once, I'm going to have to say Tyler completely covered it because that's what I was going to say. I do not think that we will see anything from any mainline Star Wars game or anything that they've talked about recently. I think if anything, we're going to see it in Disney Infinity as add-in characters or whatever. I think it's going to be something, extra for that, and I don't think anyone else really bothers to take care of us poor old Vita owners.
Hey, I'm not saying that Disney Infinity is going to be a bad usage of it, though.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying they're the only ones who seem to be, have the want to put anything Star Wars on the system because, I mean, making characters for Disney Infinity 2.0 would make them compatible with all systems, would they not?
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, what would it hurt? Nothing.
Right. So yeah, I mean, we can always cross our fingers, though. So, all right. Well, thank you, Lorenzo, for that question. Next, we got Gary Huss at Huss No Thuff, Huss no, not Huff. I'm struggling here. HUSSNOTHUFF. What do you guys think about this peripheral? And he links us to the L2R2 thing that you attach to the back of your Vita 2000, which makes it to where you can remote play or just play regular games and have two triggers on the back that would press on the back touch panel. So, Kyle.
All right. So we talked about this a couple times, kind of. Originally, when we talked about this, it was you and I, Tyler, speculating about some sort of, thing that they could make to add R2 and L2 to the Vita. And we pretty much speculated this exact item. Only when we were talking about it, we were talking about it for the Vita 1000. And of course, there isn't one. So what do I think about this peripheral? It's kind of awesome that it's out. Kind of sucks that it's only for the 2000. Kind of late. I don't know. What about you, Tyler?
Yeah, my girlfriend has a 2000, so I'm tempted to buy it to try it out. But at the same time, I wouldn't really be using it because, I mean, my main Vita is a 1000, and I'm not gonna switch stuff over temporarily just to play some games every once in a while on a 2000 with some triggers. But yeah, maybe if this does well, or if there's enough outcry for them to make one that's compatible with the 1000, then we'll be talking more about it. But it's an awesome idea, and I'm happy to see it, because that should, if as long as it works, actually. I don't know if it's out yet, but yeah, it's a great idea. And anyone else out there that's listening that decides to import this, you should definitely let us know how it is.
Yeah, I think they've actually been taking orders and such for them, and I think they're going out pretty soon. So, or now, I'm not 100% sure. I didn't look on that, but somewhere around now they're going out. So we should be seeing something soon.
Yeah.
With regards to reviews or user impressions at least.
It says April 30th is the release date.
Well, there you go, 8 days.
So pretty soon people will have their hands on it.
All right, thank you, Gary Huss, for your question. And moving on. Our next question is from Dago, and that's at Dago2682, Dago 2682. Those are all numbers. And they say, do you guys think that developers are going to release patches so that available games take advantage of the memory increase? What do you think, Tyler?
It's hard to say, really. A lot of the older games, definitely not. Those developers have moved on or have even shut down, depending on who they are. So there's literally no reason for them to jump back into it. Maybe some recent games, maybe, but I don't know. I can't really see any games out there that really. Well, I mean, there's a couple games out there that could use it. A lot of the ones that have like frame rate problems could probably use some decent patches to fix that up, but would they actually do it? Probably not. So I don't think we'll see any developers updating their games really that much, if any. But you never know.
Well, goes from starting the cast with something I completely agree with to spewing some stuff that I'm like, what are you saying, Tyler?
You don't agree with that?
No.
Even
I
like,
definitely.
okay, go on. Go ahead.
Okay, no, go ahead before I start.
I was gonna say even the develop like old games like.
Oh no, I don't think every game,
Oh,
unless one certain situation.
oh, go on.
Okay, well, I'll go on. So, do we think that developers are going to release patches? Now, that's assuming that patches need to be released,
True.
because we don't really know what they've done here. Though we know what's in a PlayStation Vita, people like iFixit and people at home and me have taken apart their Vitas and looked. We don't know necessarily how things work together. So I do know that the Vita contains 2 memory chips. Both are 256 megabytes. And that apparently, and now I'm not a Sony source, so don't quote me on this, but this is what I'm hearing. The 30% that was given was from the second memory chip, which had been reserved for system use. So it looks like they had split it down the middle and give 256 to system, 256. But the thing is, they're 2 separate chips. So we don't know if it's that, the way that they've set up the hardware is they can take advantage of whatever's there and it's just partitioned, in a system setting per se. Or we don't know if they're actually physically separate and somebody has to program the game to look at that second piece and see for that 30%. So first of all, we don't know if the games can even see that right away. Second of all, we don't know if they were planning for this. Because, if they were planning from this from the start, if you add memory to a computer, whether it's, you change your settings so that it was partitioned for, system memory to be a certain amount, and now it's not, or whatever, it automatically adjusts for whatever you add. So whether they've just now opened up that 30% and they're trying to program it in so that, everything can take advantage of it, then that would be completely different, as you wouldn't need a patch. But if you do need a patch, I'm thinking that only games which had either severe performance issues or recent are going to get updates. So I know they said Borderlands was never getting an update again. However, I think that's a good candidate for them to go back now that there's this extra, if they have to patch it in, to patch it in. And other games like that. But also looking at things like the games that are out, some games don't necessarily need it. So if, you don't need it, then why patch it in unless it's going to do something? So, if you need a patch, certain games obviously aren't going to get them because they just don't need it. So it's really how they've kind of worked this out beforehand and how the hardware is set up and the software is set up, whether this is going to go one way, the other way, or some complete different tangent that we haven't even talked about. So it's just quite, they've given us a little bit of information and people go, oh, blah, 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 and they just kind of decide it goes one way or the other, like with that trademark. So I don't think I almost don't think we should speculate until somebody comes out and says, either I've made a patch, so confirmed that you have to make a patch, or stuff gets better. I don't know.
Yeah, it leaves a lot on the table, so
It does.
we'll have to wait and see. Like you said, if someone actually comes out and says, hey, because of this, this is now fixed.
Indeed.
But yeah, thanks, Dago, for your question. Next up, we got our usual non-skippo question at NONSCPO, and he asks, so what's the scoop on Greg Miller writing for you guys? Will you try to add Colin Moriarty too? And he's referring to the magazine, and Greg Miller at GameOverGreggy tweeted, quote, at the Vita Lounge, can I write something for issue 2? End quote. Kyle, what's the scoop?
All right, so right now there is no scoop. As far as you've seen is pretty much as far as has happened. The magazine really only kind of went live on Monday. It's now technically Tuesday middle of the night, depending on who you're looking at. And we just kind of haven't got that far yet. A lot has been going on, and just like with the release of anything, there's been PR and other things to do. So not everything has been worked out. Not stuff has been, figured out yet. So we don't know. We will let you know when we do know. But for now, we're just as in the dark as you.
Well, there you go. Hopefully we'll have something to report soon.
Very true.
And as for Colin Moriarty, I think we should take one step at a time, personally, but I'm not really in charge of that, so I can't really say too much about that.
Yeah, as for Colin Moriarty, we haven't heard anything from him, so, we don't know. Anything could happen. This is the Vita Lounge.
Aw, yeah.
So yeah, no news. We're not trying to add anybody. This is people kind of volunteering, so it's not like we're going out and probing them to come write for us. But anywho, moving on to our next question, which is also from NonSkippable, so you know where to find him at. And he asks, do you believe that the post made by the community manager of Concept will hurt sales of the Vita port of Mighty Number 9? And they've included a YouTube link. Have you had a look at that link, Tyler?
I have not. I didn't realize there was a link in that question.
Well, poo.
Do you want to give me the gist?
All right, so here's the gist. Apparently, now this is from secondhand information, so I'm not necessarily saying this. Apparently, there was a community manager hired for Concept who was dealing with Mighty Number 9, and they dealt with people who had funded the game via Kickstarter and were, joining their special forum to, get insider info and blah, 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 as well as stuff like Twitter. And apparently she is also a feminist, and kind of took it upon herself to remove people who were on the Gamergate You Suck list, or whatever the hell they want to call that list, and from both the forum, so lose their access even though they backed the game, to early information or support or whatever else they give there, as well as talking shit to them on Twitter and telling them that if they don't like it, they can boycott the game. So, it just seems like a bit of power rage kind of went on, and they pulled some stuff out of their ass that they really shouldn't have, and said some things that kind of might have been damaging to the company. Yeah, you'd have to watch the video to get the whole gist of it, but that's kind of the basic, formula of what happened.
Interesting.
Yeah. So with that in mind, do you think that these kind of outbursts by this community manager will hurt sales of the Vita port of Mighty Number 9 is what NonSkippable is asking?
I don't think so. It's unfortunate that this is happening, but I would like to think that I'm in the know of a lot of Vita stuff, and I had no idea about this, and honestly probably wouldn't have known at all if this wasn't brought up to me in this podcast. And I think a lot of the general population out there that is going to pick this game up on the Vita is going to have absolutely no idea about this, personally. But yeah, I don't think it would that much. Maybe a couple sales here and there, but not enough to be something so drastic that it's like, wow, this is a major flop. But I could be wrong. What about you,
Yeah.
Kyle?
I'm thinking pretty much the same thing. I mean, like more than anything, I think this would piss off the people who have already backed the game and put their money down for it. So whether or not they can get that money back if they're that pissed off, I highly doubt. But um, yeah, I'm not sure it necessarily would affect the general Vita public. Like even like you were saying, we're pretty in the know, and I hadn't heard about this until it was pointed out to me. And aside from that, really it could kind of help because as funny as it is, any press is good press. So, them talking about this girl going off might make people look at the game and then sales. So like, I mean, it's hard to judge from the perspective we're at, but it's definitely going to have an effect. How big that effect is, we're not quite sure at this point.
Right. Well, all right. Well, thanks, NonSkippable, for the question. Next question here is from Jack, and he says, "Hi, Jack Gall again. Thanks for answering my question last week. It was a little too specific, so let me rephrase with a question. Do you think Monster Hunter will ever come to Vita? For example, Monster Hunter 5 Ultimate. I think us Vita fans are that desperate to have at least one Monster Hunter on the Vita. Also, if Sony hypothetically asks us this, what would your answer be?" And there's a couple other questions in here. So, if you could have a Soul Sacrifice 2 or Monster Hunter, which would you rather have? So essentially 2 questions for you to answer. Thanks again, Jack Gall, via email. Kyle?
All right. So now this is only my opinion, so don't throw rocks. Do I think Monster Hunter will ever come to Vita? Not a proper one. We've got Monster Hunter Frontier G and its upgrades that have come to Vita in Japan, but I highly doubt we're ever going to see a Monster Hunter title, a full one, or a remake, or anything resembling that come to Vita. I think it's just kind of too locked down, and I think with all the other hunting games that they might not want to try to jump in that water. So yeah, I'm gonna say no. Um, if they ask me, even though I'm not big on the game, of course I would say yes, because I know there's a lot of people who want it, and there's a lot of people who don't speak up who want it, and can't speak up because they don't know they should speak up. So, of course, I would tell them yes, and I assume Tyler would do the same.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. As for if I could have a Soul Sacrifice 2 or Monster Hunter, hands down, Soul Sacrifice 2, because Soul Sacrifice was awesome. Delta is even better, and I really need to go back to it because I'm feeling the urge. And I don't really, as I said, care for Monster Hunter. So yeah, I'd rather have Soul Sacrifice 2. What about you, Tyler?
All right. I agree with you on the first part of the question. I don't think we'll ever see a Monster Hunter other than Frontier G, which is unfortunate, but most definitely would answer yes if Sony asked me if I wanted it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you pretty much already answered that pretty well. As for Soul Sacrifice 2 or Monster Hunter, that's a tough one. I really love Soul Sacrifice and Soul Sacrifice Delta. They're one of my favorite games on the Vita. But that Monster Hunter, the elusive Monster Hunter, I would really love to see like them take a whack at it, like an actual just Monster Hunter on the Vita, because I've loved so much the PSP one. I can't remember what it's called. Monster Hunter Ultimate? No,
Freedom.
no. Freedom. That's the one. Freedom Unite.
Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah, I love that one, and the Vita is amazing, obviously, because we cover that, and why wouldn't it be amazing? But yeah, having that, playing with friends, I'd love it so much. I think I'm gonna have to say Monster Hunter, even though I would love to have a Soul Sacrifice 2 as well. So I mean, it's a close battle right there. So yeah, thanks Jack for your question. Hopefully we answered that a little better than the first time you asked that. So yeah, those were all the emails, right, Kyle? All our questions.
Yes, to my knowledge.
All right. Well, you're still the host of this, so what's next?
All right, so moving on to the next item. We skipped that Guess That Game because we don't have Liam, even though I'm 3 up anyway and I'm dominating like a boss.
But he may be here next week.
We'll see.
From what I'm hearing.
We'll see.
So it might
Even
be
then,
back.
like I'm not worried. Even if he gets one, like whatever.
You hear that, Liam? Challenge.
That's right. That's right. I'm calling you out, Liam. But anyway, seeing as how we can't really touch on that, we move to check this out, and this week it's you, Tyler. So what should we check out this week?
You know, I already forgot what I picked earlier. Dang it.
Damn it, Tyler.
No, don't tell me. I know what it was. Oh, man. It's a recent game. I'm looking at all my bubbles right now to see if it just pops into my head suddenly.
Oh man, come on, Tyler.
I'm trying. Oh, Oroshika Tainted Bloodlines. That's the one. You need to check that one out. I'm not super far into it, but I've played a few hours, and it's a really weird game, but it's fun. And it's very interesting to just go through your, like, I guess your life cycle, your character's life cycle, and then suddenly they're gone and you have to get a new one, and like you're constantly managing your clan, I guess is what they call it. I think it's a clan. Yeah, I think it's a clan. You manage that, and you're constantly having to basically reproduce your offspring and make sure that your heritage continues down, or your lineage continues, and it's very interesting. I didn't like it at first, to be honest. When I first started playing it, I think the first hour or so, I was just like, I got other things to play. But that bubble had been teasing me for a few weeks, so I was like, you know what? Let's get back into it, and it hooked me, so I definitely suggest picking it up, and it's relatively cheap. It's only $20, and it's a fun and big game. So I can't remember. Was it Adrian that reviewed it? Do you remember, Kyle?
Yes, it was.
Do you remember what he gave it?
I don't want to, but I want to say over a 4, but lower than 4.5, and that's just kind of off the top of my head.
So high praise.
Yeah,
likely.
yeah.
But yeah, go grab that. Check out the review that Adrian did. It's a fun game. And I don't think Kyle's tried it yet, but don't you want it? Was that
I've played the demo now, and I want it. Yes, Tyler, I do want it.
So Kyle needs to check that out.
Indeed. Add to my backlog of shame.
You gotta love it.
Indeed, I do.
All right. Well, you're still the host, so that's all I got.
All right, so seeing as that's done, we move on to threads to look at on the forum this week. And the one that I found, because Tyler was useless, is the magazine feedback thread in rules, feedback, and competitions area. Now, if you're not in the know somehow and are listening to our podcast, which kind of doesn't make sense, but anywho, we just released our first magazine to the public. It covers the first 3 months of reviews as well as some articles and other things. And it was released on the site. There's a link on the site at the top. And it's on Calamio. So if you search the Vita Lounge on Calamio, you'll find it. And it's available for download there as well now. So you can either read it on the site or download it as a PDF. And we're looking for, of course, feedback. I know print versions haven't gone out yet. They're mailing out very soon, so people should be receiving them anytime. So we can't necessarily ask for feedback on that yet. However, we'd love to hear what you think about the digital version. So get at us, and that's the place to do it, on the forum in the thread called Magazine Feedback Thread.
All right. And isn't there the tearaway competition still going?
Absolutely, that runs to the end of the month. So if you didn't hear us on the last couple of threads to look at, there's the competition for this month, and we're giving away a European physical copy of Tearaway. So if you're interested in that, get on the forum, fill the qualifications, which aren't hard to fill at all, and you're entered.
Bam, get it done.
Indeed.
Well,
all right, looks like
outro,
I
pal.
have to, yeah, looks, well, here goes nothing. So it looks like it's time to leave. First of all, you should note that all the stuff we talked about on the VitaCast today is available on thevitalounge.net. We've also got a new podcast email, mediaservices@thevitalounge.net. So send your podcast-related emails there now with podcast in the subject line, please. The old email has now been decommissioned, so be sure to change that contact info, guys, or your emails are going to bounce. We are also on Twitter. I'm at Teflon Tactics. Tyler's at Mr. PS Vita Reviews, and there's, of course, the Vita Lounge main Twitter account. We're on Facebook at The Vita Lounge. You have to search that up. We're on YouTube, and that's Lounge Play. So we post up Lounge Plays, podcasts, release previews for the months, pretty much anything cool that we can get that has to do with Vita that we think you should, be aware of, other than the stuff Tyler posts on his own channel. And of course, then there's the Lounge Plays that we were just talking about, which supposedly happen every Saturday, though we've been slacking, and we need to get back at that hard.
Yes.
There's also the magazine Patreon. So if you're looking for a physical copy of our magazine, that is currently the only way to get one. If you sign up now, you're getting issue 2, as issue 1 has already been set up for distribution. However, we would like to let you know that back orders of issue 1 are coming soon. So if you missed out on getting a physical copy, you will be able to, and we'll have details on that soon. There's also the forum, which I was talking about earlier, thevitalounge.net/forum. Join up, start a thread in the introduction section, start answering some questions, start, talking to people in some of those threads, and get involved in the community. We're over 700 members now, so lots of people to talk to. And lastly, we're on iTunes. So if you have iTunes or are looking to get us on iTunes via their podcast feature, we're there. And we're also now on Stitcher. So I think Tuesday it was approved. Last Tuesday, I think. And I just finally got around to finding that out. So we're on Stitcher. There's a link in the VitaCast section of the site if you are unsure how to find us. You can also search us at the Vita Lounge on there and find us that way. So lots of ways to listen to this podcast, which is now over. So thanks for joining us, and we hope to talk to you again next week. What do you have to say, Tyler, on your outro?
I'm so proud of you.
Well, I listen to you so many times do the outro, like even more times in the intro, I think, actually listening, because sometimes I'm, getting things ready last minute. So, wasn't as horrible as my intro, I think.
You didn't do too bad. I'm proud of you. You did a great job.
Well, there you go. Tyler's approval, so now I am complete. And you can all download my VitaCast.
Oh, it's yours now?
That's right. I've taken over.
All right. Awesome. Senran Kagura.
There you go. Later, guys.